welcome back to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always,
Assalamu
he is
alaikum.
Yinka Yusuf, and I'm Akin Adeke. One of us, Yinka, has a different background today. That one of us would be
Yes,
me. So,
Ajala
I'm
the
on the
traveler.
road. Oh my gosh, I'm on the road. I am in the very, very old, shall we call it city of Oxford in England, uh, visiting the parents. So this is my hotel room. My Wi-Fi is not very good. We've spent about half an hour trying to get me up to speed, but we do this for our people, Yinka. We do this for our people.
Yeah, yes,
Abi,
so we do.
we could have cancelled.
We
I'm jet
do.
lagged.
Eh,
I flew red eye last night, but here we are. You know,
Yeah,
but
here we are. Here we are.
I can't pass up an
So,
opportunity to talk about England, Yinka. So I can't pass it up. That's why I'm here.
well, we have quite a lot to talk about. I don't think
We
it's
do,
only
we do.
England actually. I think
I'm only here for
there are quite
England,
a
but
number
okay.
of. Yeah, I know you're only here for England, but yeah, there are quite a number of things to touch on. So, without much further ado, like the English people
Yes,
say,
let's do it.
Akin, so what are we doing? Let's get it. Let's get into it.
Okay. We're gonna break down the Copa America. There's been a lot happening, including today in the aftermath of the Copa. Then we're gonna break down the Euros. There's way more than I can even keep track of. And then after we recap those two tournaments, we'll talk about some things coming off of those tournaments. Harry Kane, England manager, all of that stuff. US manager, don't forget the US, host of the next
Yep.
World Cup. Winners in waiting of the next World Cup, you
Oh
guys better
God.
get used to it
Oh
now,
God.
you know?
Oh God. Is it the sleep? Is it this lack of sleep that is causing all
Sleep
this evening or
deprivation.
what? Is it
When the
sleep
US wins
deprivation
the
that is
World
causing
Cup,
all this?
just don't say I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Don't say I didn't tell you. I've been telling you for years now. There's
Nah,
an Olympic basketball camp
not
going
gonna
on.
happen.
Not gonna. I know.
Mm-hmm.
There's some controversy there as well. We should talk about it. And we got to talk
Yeah,
about
we
our
will.
girls, Caitlin and Angel. We got to talk about that. So,
Yep,
all right,
we will.
Yinka, let's get into it. The last time we were here, so we're recording. Yinka and I are on the same time zone. I'm in the UK. He's in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We're recording Tuesday night. Tuesday night, 16th of July, right? So we didn't want to record on
Yes.
Sunday because we both wanted to watch the Euros and then the Copa. And then I was traveling on Monday, so we're recording on Tuesday. All right. So
Yeah.
the last time we were here, neither tournament had gone into semifinals yet. So we need to recap the semis
Absolutely.
and the final. Okay? So
Absolutely.
let's start
Yeah.
with the Copa. And the semis
Mhm.
were Argentina, Canada, and then
Yep.
Uruguay, Colombia. All right.
Yes.
So let's start with Argentina. I'll take Argentina, Canada. That was the first game of the tournament as well. That was the first matchup of the tournament. So in the first
Yeah.
matchup,
Exactly. It was a
the
repeat of the
opening
first game.
match
Yeah.
opening match of the tournament, it was goalless at halftime, and then it ended up Argentina 2, Canada 0. And as well as
Yes.
Canada played, it could have been 8-0. As well as Canada played, it could easily have been 8-0 in that first match.
You
even
mean
though
the
it was
first
goalless.
game or this
Yeah, first game.
semifinal? The
First
first
game.
game.
No, the first
Okay.
game.
Yeah.
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 As well
Okay.
as Canada played so well and could have been battered 8-0, right? It was such a strange game.
Yeah.
All right. So now we come back to Argentina, the semifinals, right? So Jesse Marsh have been talking. Does he have one foot in, the other foot looking at the American job? Like, what is going on? And then Canada shows up. Messi hasn't really, really played well this tournament. Do we think he's
Yeah,
played well?
he hasn't.
He hasn't really,
No, he hasn't.
really played well. So I think Canada
No,
played
he
well.
hasn't.
Ultimately, they lost 2-0 again. Messi scored this time. He barely scored. The ball was going in. He just put his foot there. Let's be real. that's he just, the ball hit him on the way in, right? So Canada went home meekly, and that's really all there is to talk about on that one. Inka, you want to talk about the other
Yeah.
one? Colombia, Uruguay.
Yeah, so I'm happy you gave me the juicier one.
I know, on purpose.
You gave me the juicier one on purpose. So I'm not sure if this was a football game or a war zone. We thought the Uruguay Brazil game was rough. It felt like more like a boxing match or UFC match, unlike a football game. That was tame in comparison to this Uruguay Colombia game, Akin. Madness all over the place, on the field and in the stands, right?
Yeah.
The ref actually sent off, was it Minos or so, one of the Colombian players.
It was it
I
the
think it
leading
was
scorer
Minos.
when he
It
was
was
sent off?
Minos.
Yeah, Minos was sent off.
No.
Yeah, and I think he had scored 3
It was
goals.
Minos that
or so
was
in the
sent off.
tournament. Yeah.
Lema scored the goal in this semi-final, right? Then
Yeah.
Minos got sent off for ridiculous, tackling and stuff. Then all of a sudden, Colombia just shot base, right? And Colombia just was like, you know what, we're gonna keep this 1-0, and we'll just park the bus like Jose Mourinho, and we'll see how we can get away with this 1-0. Which Akin they did. They got away with the 1-0, right? But in as much as the game was rough, it was tardy, I didn't like it. What happened in the stands after the game was of major concern to me. Yeah. So some of the Uruguayan players, David Nunes, one of them in particular, his family was sat close to the Colombian side. They were close to each other. The Colombian side and the Uruguayan players. Apparently, the Colombian fans started making fun of the guy. Colombian fans started making fun of the guy. I mean, of his family, and it became a brawl, kind of. And after the brawl, Nunes then had to physically climb. He didn't go through the back or anything. He climbed the stands from the pitch, right, in an attempt to protect his family, and he went into major fisticuffs with the Colombian fans. And I'm like, how? This is bad optics for the US, right? You want to host tournaments, right? And you cannot protect the fans. You cannot demarcate fans appropriately. And even when things was going south, I didn't see that much security bodies in the crowd trying to control anything. So for me, I'm like, this is bad. I just hope that Copa, CONCACAF, or CONMEBOL or whoever, I hope they don't go ahead and ban Darwin Nunes, right? Because if it's me, Akin, I will have done worse. My family, right, cannot be in danger, right? And you expect me to just sit down there and do nothing. I'm not going to do nothing. Yeah? So that was a very, very ugly incident. It's bad optics for the US. That was the only interesting thing about that semi-final, frankly.
Before we go to the final, Inka, a couple things.
Yes.
Number one, Marcelo Bielsa, who is the Argentinian man coaching Uruguay. And we know him. We know him from Leeds United. We know him from a bunch of other places, right? I'm trying to read what he said. He went off. So this is what it says. These last 24 hours have been consumed by everything that happened after the game against Colombia. Are you worried about what happened given the possible sanctions your team is facing? That's what someone asked him, right? The notoriously blunt Bielsa immediately made it clear. I'm reading from The Athletic. He felt the reporter had misstepped. The Uruguay coach's voice trembled. He struggled to contain his disgust as he began to offer his answer. I said something the other day, Bielsa said, staring intently at the media member. I said that media members shouldn't ask anybody any questions when they already have enough evidence in front of them to draw their own conclusions. So how can someone ask me if I have fear about the sanctions that are coming when the only logic that applies in this situation is that mothers with babies in their hands, women, sisters, were attacked by the spectators, right? I'm like, this is crazy. The only thing I can tell you is that the players reacted however any other human being would, Bielsa said, his voice getting louder and louder. If you see your woman or your mother or a baby are being attacked, what would you do? You'd ask whether they're going to punish the people who defended themselves? I don't know who you are, and I don't know any of you, he said, motioning to the journalists in the room. But you know that there are certain percentages of journalists who don't attack certain things because it's not convenient for them financially. Yes? Am I lying? You don't want to say it because of corporate interest. I have to say it. Like, oh my goodness.
He went off.
He went off.
And this is someone that hardly talks. He sits down on the touchline. He sits on the cooler of water, or he kneel down. He will just. I don't think I've heard him speak before.
No, he doesn't speak. He doesn't speak. He has like a cult following by some of the great coaches. Like Pep is a big fan. Arteta is a big fan. All these guys, right?
Yeah.
He has like a cult following. Yeah. But even I've seen him interact with Pep before, and he's very measured in his words. He's not a bombastic guy. So this was not him.
Like I said, Akin, I sincerely hope that they do the right thing. If Nunes is banned or suspended or fined, the whole world should be livid.
Yeah,
the whole world should be livid. Let's move on to the third place match.
Yeah, one quick thing about that, right? So CONMEBOL is the South American Federation. Copa is their tournament. They're hosting it in the US, which is CONCACAF, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about the global impact of a potential sanction for Nunes, right? Because for CONMEBOL could report into FIFA and say, hey, handle him. Whatever suspension we give him, you can make it global. And now he can't play for Liverpool or you can, whatever. So I hope that doesn't happen. But in the final, Yinka, it was Colombia versus Argentina. Yeah. What happened again, Yinka? There was tens of thousands of people who could not get into the stadium. Because what happened? People were climbing in through the vents. People were flying through the vents. What do you call them? Escalators were destroyed. Okay, there are pictures of destroyed escalators. It got to a point. There was I think it was a U.S. journalist who said they should just shut everything down. Everybody should go home. That's how dangerous it was, right? And Inka, this brings back memories of your Abidjan journey at the AFCON final. Wembley, remember Wembley for the Euro in 2021, the 2020 Euros that was held in 21. Paris for Real Madrid versus Liverpool, I think, in the Champions League. So crowd control has become a thing. I don't know if people are doing it for the gram, because I feel like this only used to happen in South America and Africa before. Now it's happening everywhere. It's kind of crazy.
Just to buttress your point, I saw a video in that Colombia-Argentina final of a stampede at the turnstiles, right?
Yeah.
The only reason why the stampede was not fatal was because one of the fences that they had was a makeshift. It was a fence that it just tippled over. It wasn't really a fence. It was like a barricade, right?
Okay.
And that is what saved young girls and young boys that were already crushed against the fence.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is bad optics, right? And it will be worse if an investigation is carried out and we then get to find out that the federation sold more tickets than they should have, or
Yeah.
there is a ticket racketeering going on, because I
Yeah.
don't know how else you go to the stadium to do what, unless you have a ticket. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or there is a message like what happened in my Abidjan experience, where the Ivorians knew that the gates were going to be flung open.
Mm.
You know? Or else the news or the message you should be passing to everybody is, don't even near 1,000 meters of the stadium if you don't
Yeah.
have a ticket.
Without a ticket.
That is supposed to be the message.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is bad optics
Well
for the
said.
US. I'm sorry. It is bad optics. Complete bad optics. I hope they learn from their mistakes and they put on a better event. They put on a better show when the World Cup itself comes around. But it's not just the organization; it's the pitches. It's the whole event looks bad. I'm sorry, it does.
So a couple things, Yinka. I think it looked really bad because we're juxtaposing it with the Euro, right? Which is not, you should be able to, right?
Fair
because
point.
For me, I would argue that AFCON lived up to what the Euro is. You know? That I'm always complaining about African pitches. I couldn't complain about Cote d'Ivoire. The pitches were beautiful.
They had good
right?
pitches.
The officiating was the best we've seen in a tournament since VAR came in. Yeah, the best. I don't know if the referees are that good or they're just better trained and, I don't know, better coordinated, right? And the games themselves were fun, So, to be honest, Copa was fun. The Euros, to me, was not. Anything England played in was the worst game. It was just awful. And I know we're jumping. Let's not jump. Let's talk about the final.
We'll get to England.
We'll get to England.
So anyway, quick take on the final, Aki. Messi injury, right?
It was the
that
pitch.
Injury was a non-contact injury. It was the pitch.
It was the pitch. Yeah.
It was the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But frankly, before then, Messi really didn't have. His
shot.
Footprint wasn't really obvious in this whole tournament. So in the past, Messi used to carry Argentina. I think in this tournament, Lautaro Martinez and the rest of the Argentine squad carried Messi.
Yeah.
So for me, it was completely appropriate that when it was time to lift the trophy, he was like, guys, come on, I probably didn't play anything in this tournament. It's a team win. Let everybody. He actually called Di Maria and this defender that was Otamendi. He called Otamendi and Di Maria, but later they took the trophy to the team and they lifted the trophy together, which I thought was appropriate. We need to talk about Lautaro Martinez, right? He has been, you know how I feel about him. I don't really like him. I think he's overrated. But he proved me wrong in this tournament. He popped up when it mattered, right?
Yeah.
And he delivered this Copa for Argentina. So Lautaro, like Shaq would say, I apologize. I wasn't aware of your game. So I mean, I can't say anything. Okay, the guy showed me he's a big game player. Right, and he delivered. There's nothing else I can say. I'm telling you.
But Yinka, this man was the top scorer in Serie A this past season, right? I feel like we're judging him based on the big misses from the World Cup from Qatar, right? He's been getting benched for Argentina ever since.
Even before then, Aki, it's not a Qatar thing for me. Yeah. It's been in the Argentine national team for a while, right? He gets in
Yeah.
and he just goes, yeah, it's what I don't care about you guys. I don't play with the team. I just want to score. And he kind of is playing against the team instead of for the team. But in this Copa, oh my God, ha
Mm.
ha ha.
It
It
was
looked a
good.
different, it looked a
It
completely
was
different
good.
player. So
So,
round of
Yinka, we
applause for
have to
him.
talk about Scaloni. So
Yes.
we have to talk about Scaloni. So Scaloni was hired by Argentina 8 years ago. I think under him they've played 60 something games. They've lost 3 times, Yinka. In over, I think it's 63 or 64 games. They've lost only 3 times. Right?
Wow.
Colombia had a 28 match unbeaten streak. Right? They started the streak after losing to Argentina, and now they've lost to Argentina again. So they've bookended Argentina bookended, their winning streak with a loss and a
Yeah.
loss, or in Argentina's case, a win. And you look at Scaloni, he doesn't say much. He's not a yeller, he's not a screamer, right? He somehow found a way to mistreat, in my opinion, Lautaro, and Lautaro still produces. Because for me, Lautaro deserved to start more than Alvarez. But Alvarez has pretty much taken Lautaro's starting position. Go ahead, Nika.
So can I say something? So
Of
Aki,
course.
the reason why Alvarez starts ahead of Martinez is exactly what I told you a couple of minutes ago,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Alvarez plays for the team. Lautaro in the past plays for himself. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Right? Alvarez plays to support Messi,
Mm-hmm.
he hustles, he runs around, he's a Duracell, he doesn't get tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's humble. Lautaro Martinez, on the other hand, comes in, wants to play for himself. There is that ego there. There is the chip on I think that's the only reason, right? Why Scaloni says, I'll prefer Alvarez hustle. I'll prefer his humility. I'll prefer him playing for the team rather than because see, Lautaro is not as good as Messi, but he's like
Yeah.
Messi
Yeah.
twin, if you get what I mean, in terms of effort for the team in general. Lautaro won't track back. You can't have two of those kind
Yeah.
of people in the team at once. The team will suffer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
a
why I
fair
think
point.
Scaloni prefers Alvarez to Martinez. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's amazing because we talk a lot
But
about
talking of
Spanish coaches. Yeah, but we don't talk about
mm-hmm,
Argentinian coaches. In this tournament,
yeah,
Argentina, Uruguay, Colombia all had Argentinian coaches. You know?
that's true. I
That's
didn't even think of
three
that.
of the semifinalists all had Argentinian coaches.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So the next time your country wants to hire a unknown white man, go to Argentina, please.
Go to Argentina. You can even go to their
Right?
is it Division 2, the Clausura, what do they call it?
Right?
Right. Go pick someone there.
Mm.
It's
All
better
right.
better than Pesero. Anyway.
So in
So let's
in
let's let's
wrapping
let's
up,
move on.
yeah, in wrapping up Copa, Lautaro won the Golden Boot. James
Mm-hmm.
Rodriguez won the Golden Ball. I'm not sure if they're using those terms these
Yeah.
days. And Emi Martinez won a Best Goalkeeper. And I think it
Yeah.
was all very well deserved. James scored 1 goal and had 6 assists. Six
Yeah.
in 6 matches. You know? So
Fantastic
that's
player.
the one
Love him.
guy
He's a good
over these
player.
2 tournaments. Yeah, the one guy I'm just the happiest for. Because he's been through so much with injuries and stuff. For me, I don't blame players for getting injured. I'm not one of those people. Even if you're quote
Yeah.
unquote injury prone, it's not your fault. Unless you're Shaq who
Yeah.
refuses
It's
to
not.
get in shape. Then it's your fault.
Exactly. Then it's your
You
fault.
know, but for most players, it's not their fault. But anyway, all right. Are we done with the
Hakim,
Copa?
before we roll off to
Yeah.
Euros, right?
Yeah.
Something happened subsequently, right? You were just telling me this. I heard it. I didn't really follow it, but you were telling me this before we clicked record. Can you just, touch base on this
Yes.
again for our listeners?
I
Something
almost
ridiculous.
forgot.
I'll let you take it.
Yeah. So we're recording on a Tuesday, as I said. The story just broke. Enzo
Mm-hmm.
Fernandez is getting into some trouble because he posted a video on his social media. He and some teammates, some Argentinian teammates, were singing a song about France and their players, which is shocking because they played in two different tournaments. I'm like, why? Why do you have France on your lips? I don't understand. Here are some of the lyrics and why he's getting in trouble. Okay, this this is the song. This is the full lyrics to the song. Listen, spread the word. They play in France, but they are all from Angola. They are going to run well. They like to sleep with trans people. Their mom is Nigerian. Their dad is Cameroonian, but on the passport it says French.
Why
Wow.
is Nigeria catching a stray bullet here? How many French players have Nigerian? I'm sorry. Why is my
Not
country
a lot.
just catching stray bullet?
There's no colonial connection there. Nigerians don't go to France like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you're gonna mock some, see, so this is ridiculous on several levels. You first said
yeah.
it. You didn't even play France. You played
No.
Colombia. How
Yes.
on earth did France enter the equation? And if you're gonna mock someone, at least get the lyrics or the content of your mockery. Get it right. Get
Yeah.
your diss facts on point. Don't be mentioning Nigerians and whatever. But
Yeah.
I was joking. Upon a more serious note, Aki, this is an absolute disaster. These guys should not be doing this.
Yeah.
You're
No, they
world
should.
champions, you're Copa champions. You don't need to do this. What are you? What? And it
Yeah.
seems Enzo
I
is
don't get it.
catching most of the flack. I don't know why. I think you said a lot of people
He
reported that it was
posted it.
Enzo and a couple
He
of guys.
no. Yeah.
He
He
posted it,
posted it.
right?
He posted it. Oh, yeah. He posted it. But yeah, for me it's really sad.
But is
Again,
that not silly? How can you even if oh god, these guys won't,
you
as Yoruba
guys,
say, won't lonimoro gidio. I'm sorry. They
this,
don't have good
you got,
advisors. What are
this
you
is what
doing?
happens when you get too much too soon. You know, Enzo,
Yeah, you said so anyway.
Benfica, right? All of a sudden, boom, 125 million,
Boom.
and you know how much money the wages are going to be crazy. And I feel like it's happening to Bellingham as well, which I never thought I would say, but it's kind of happening to him as well. We'll talk about that, but it's too much too soon, you know?
It's too much too soon. So I heard
Yeah,
the French Football Federation are thinking of legal action, and some Chelsea
yes,
players have actually unfollowed Enzo, and some people even released statements, and they are
yeah,
very very livid and unhappy, deservedly.
Fofana is unhappy.
Um,
Yeah,
this is just unnecessary and childish.
yeah, it's really sad. And your country has
Okay.
a history of, let's not call it genocide, let's not call it ethnic cleansing, but whatever those things
Yeah.
would have been called 200 years ago, your country has a history of it.
Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly. And you
So
wonder, you look at the whole Argentine national team, the only black player you've had in the past, only God knows how many years, is Veron.
is black adjacent, you know.
Anyway, let's
you
end
know,
Copa on that note.
let's end
It's
Copa.
annoying.
So,
Let's move on to the
and
Euros.
all right, Inka, let's get to the real juicy one. Let's start
Yeah.
with
The one,
the
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 one that
four
involves England.
games. Yes, oh yeah, of course. Well, I'm not biased or anything. I just hate them. Uh,
Oh, come on. Shut up.
so the
I think
semifinals of
I'll
the
just take a
Euros.
back seat on this one. I just let you have
You know what?
fun
Maybe you should.
because
Maybe you should.
you've been looking forward to
Let
this
me
for the
cook.
past
Let me cook, Ika. Let me
Okay,
cook.
okay. I would chill. You cook. I'll
Oh
chill.
my God. All right. Where do
Go
I
ahead.
start from? So the semifinals were uh, the Netherlands versus England. And then the first one was France versus Spain, right? So let's start with France
Mm-hmm.
versus Spain, right? Because France scored a goal from open play for the first time in the tournament, okay? And they
Yep.
scored it in like the ninth minute, you know?
Yes.
And they scored it right after, was it Carvajal? It was Carvajal, right? No, it wasn't Carvajal.
No, no,
Was
no.
no, no.
Carvajal missed. Wasn't Carvajal
It
didn't
was
play that
Nacho.
game.
It was Nacho. Nacho.
Carvajal didn't
His
play that game. It
supposed.
was
It
Jesus
was.
Navas. Jesus Navas. Was it Nacho
Are
or
you sure it
Navas?
wasn't Nacho? It was Nacho. In car, it
Okay,
was
go
Nacho.
ahead. I
Navas
can't
wouldn't
remember.
do something like that.
Okay. Okay.
So fouled Colomwani. That man fell down and then he pressed his head down. And then of course
Yeah.
Colomwani rises up,
Yeah, it was
like a
Nacho.
phoenix from its ashes. Pinpoint cross from Mbappe. One of some of the things we've been expecting Mbappe to do. Beautiful pass, measured it like it was crazy, and just put it past the goalkeeper. Because from my vantage, I thought it went out. I thought it was wild
Yeah,
from my
I thought so
yeah,
too.
initially in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. Everyone goes crazy, and then what would you know? This Spanish team doesn't know when you beat them. They just shrugged it off, and then they responded with, in my opinion, the goal of the tournament.
Same
Lamin
here.
Yamal Mazraoui. What's his mom's name again? I've forgotten. Spanish people. Their last surname is always their mother's name. Anyway, oh
Lamin Yamal.
my God, yeah, Lamin Yamal and all his other names. He has four names. This dude, if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, just YouTube it, just Google it. This kid was 16. He turned 17 after the semifinals. Okay, he turned
Yep.
17 the day before the finals, and he was unbelievable. And then he lays the assist on for Nico Williams, right? Who scored the winner?
No, it was
Who
Danny
scored the
Olmo.
winner?
Olmo.
Danny Olmo.
Olmo.
Sorry, yeah, Olmo. Yeah, Danny Olmo. So anyway, unbelievable. France had nothing. The substitutions were when they took out Conte, I'm like, ooh, are you giving up too soon? You know, like, are you giving up too soon? It was almost like they had nothing else to bring in. But I think that was the day Spain established they were indeed the best team in the tournament. Not the final, it was the semifinal. Because what they did to France, I mean, the game was never really in doubt, even when France was up 1-0, to be honest. It was never, in my opinion,
Yeah.
it was never really in doubt. Okay, let's get into our worthy mentions. Number one is Harry Kane Cursed. We should do this like a rapid fire thing. And you should
Yeah.
say yes.
I totally agree with that. Let's do rapid fire. Is Kane cursed?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Multiples of
Okay.
1 million? Yes.
Okay.
Will he ever break the curse? I don't know. But is he cursed? At this point, I think he is. I think he
You
is.
know, because how do you come into this tournament? 30, 32 goals, 33 goals in 35 matches. And your back is hurting you. You can't run. You can't move. You look nothing like. It's still the joint top scorer. It's still
Of
the
the
joint top
tournament, yeah.
scorer. Yeah, 3 goals,
But
but two
he
penalties.
played rubbish.
It was bad, garbage.
He played
It
rubbish.
was bad.
I'm sorry. He played rubbish. Right? And
Okay.
I don't really blame him. I think maybe going good segue into England manager search. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
a braver manager, a more accomplished manager will look him in the eye
Mm.
and say, just be here to give the boys, the ginger, right?
Mm.
You know, you're not fit. Let me go with the younger ones. I'm telling you, because it
Yeah,
was
I agree.
just too clear. I don't think he was fit enough to play.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think he
agree.
was fit enough to play. Yeah.
Uh, Today, before we started recording, Gareth Southgate stepped down as manager.
My position on Gareth Southgate is documented, bro. Right? Remember one of the earlier episodes, he was my unpopular opinion, and I
Yeah,
really went in on him, right? For me, it's good riddance to maybe rubbish is harsh, but you get my
to
point.
mediocre Southgate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
No, no,
mediocre.
no, no. Is
You know.
mediocre, right? And he has Ferrari type talent, and he's a Turo driver. I'm sorry, the Nigerian people
Yeah,
won't understand what I mean.
yeah. You
So
know.
yeah, nah, it's gone.
When I gotta get into the English psyche and everybody's praising him. Oh, he saved. What did he save you from? Like, are you this desperate? I call it, Yinka, you know what I call it? I call it falling for a trickless magician.
Yep.
Garrett Southgate is a
In
trickless magician.
in the
Like,
land of
you
the
have,
blind, the one-eyed
you
man is the king. That's it.
uh, I'm sorry. If you have a well, I know you don't want to hear it, but Phil Foden, Saka, Bellingham, you need a coach that can match them. Not a coach that, if he was available today, is now available. We know who is not going to hire him. Anyone going into the Champions League from England, maybe from Belgium, they can hire him, but from
No,
England, he's
Akin
not
is a
working
is
for.
a is a championship level coach.
He
And I'm not
is.
saying that to slight him, right? I don't think any Premiership club will look at him and say, "This is the guy that I want." He was a championship coach before he got the job. He was the coach of
That's right.
Middlesbrough. He was fired from a Middlesbrough job, right? Before he got the job. Now, going into the England manager search, Aki, guess the name that is popping up. You guess the name
What?
that is popping up.
Klopp.
No, Frank Lampard.
Oh gosh. But why?
God. Frank Lampard is, I don't know who his agent is. I don't know which soap he's using to have his bath every morning. I don't have a freaking idea, man. But his
You can't
name
coach, Inka.
has popped up. I'm not
You
joking.
can't coach.
I'm serious.
You can't coach.
His name has popped
You
up,
can't
and they're
coach.
like, it's a young team that needs a coach that has attacking flair, blah, 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 blah.
No, he doesn't
So
have
these
attacking
guys,
flair. What are
if
they
I were to
talking
be
about?
England, I would put all my money, put all my investment, and go after Klopp, right? And it's
Hmm.
option A, Klopp, option B, Klopp, option C, Klopp. That's it. I'm not even gonna. They shouldn't even bother talking to Eddie Howe or all those other. No, 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 no. Just go after Klopp. Tell him this is a blank check, dude. What do you want? Right? You have free reins. You are in charge of. In fact, you're the owner of the FA at this point, right? Just come and take over this team.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's just been amazing to watch this stuff. Guess another country that needs a manager. Another country that fired its manager after doing poorly in a tournament. Hint?
You-
No.
but you already have a coach now. Just go pick your coach from Canada, and then let's wrap it up. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about the U.S. men's national team. Your champions in waiting for 2026.
Aki,
Uh,
just go to Canada, go up north to Canada, and tell Jesse March, dude, we know you've been interested in this job since you were born. In fact, in your naming ceremony, in fact, the first word that came out of your mouth was, I want to be US coach. Dude, let's pay off the Canadian FA and come to the US. And
yeah.
let's stop all this nonsense at this point.
So if you're
I'm on
keeping
fire
score at
today. This
home,
is quick fire. I'm on fire. Let's move.
Club has already said no to the US. But Club said no to the US. So,
Of course, he will say no to the
ah,
US. What are you talking about?
I know. You got
Of course, he will say no to the US.
training camps have
Anyway,
opened in the world of football. A few signings have already caught my eye.
mm,
Zirkzee, I like him. Tell me why I'm
yeah,
wrong. Tell me why I'm crazy. Zirkzee, the non-scoring center forward that went to Man United
Manchester
to
United.
go
Yeah,
play with another non-scoring center forward, also very young. I think Zirkzee is actually taller than Harland. He's a
yeah.
big kid. He's a big dude. But this is
Yeah.
like his 8th team already at 22. So
Yeah.
many teams have already given up on it, but I like him. Um,
S-
so you
So
like him?
is the
Do you
potential
not
there?
care?
Yes, the potential is there, right?
Yeah.
He has an injury record that I'm slightly worried
Yes.
about.
Yes.
And also, if there's, he can play across the front three, so he might not necessarily take games off Hoyland or whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think for that price is reasonable. They can't do worse. They
It's
bought
42
Anthony for
million.
85.
Yeah,
Exactly. They
42
bought
million
Anthony
is
for
it's not.
for, for 85. So 42 for him. It's worth the punt. I wish him all the best. He's a good player actually. He's a good kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see how it fares in the Premier League. Yeah.
All right. Olympic basketball. Joel Embiid, instead of playing for Cameroon, is playing for the US with his broken down body.
Traitor.
But it is what it is. But that's not the big news. The big news obviously was
Mr. Kawhi.
there's a part of it that is not news at all, which is Kawhi Leonard withdrawing. That is not news because when I first saw the first roster, I didn't expect him to play. I'm like, come on now, this man has never played. Stop. I didn't expect him to play.
But they are throwing
But the
fingers at each other. They are pointing fingers at each other,
I know,
right?
but
The
yeah,
US basketball whatever said it was LA that said
the
Clippers that
Clippers,
said,
yeah,
what, let him. All of a sudden the Clippers GM came out and said no. They
yeah,
would that
Frank,
they had no problem with Kawhi playing. And I'm like,
yeah, they're
these
lying.
guys just looked
He's
at him
lying.
and they're like, no, no, no,
He's
no,
lying.
no. I don't know who's lying, but I have a funny feeling that the US
Frank is
basketball
lying.
guys looked at Kawhi and they said, do we really need this guy? He's just a distraction.
But they
He's not
chose
fit.
him.
He's
You
not
can't.
fit. He's not.
They
They
chose
saw
him
him
over
train and they
Jaylen
realized
Brown.
no. Thank you very much. So
The
what happened? Why didn't they replace him with Jaylen Brown? Why did they
bruh.
go
So what?
for the my friend that's
Derek,
hairline is
Derek,
like yours? Derek White.
Derek White. Derek White. So Derek White is a nice player. On a team with a lot of scorers, he averaged almost 16 points a game. So he can
So you need
score.
a shooter.
He can
He's a
score. He
proper three
plays
and
good
D guy.
defense. But guess
Yeah.
what, you got? He shoots the same percentage as Jaylen Brown for their careers. They shoot the same percentage. And Jaylen Brown is a blue collar superstar. Go ahead, Nika.
So
Go on.
their shot selection is different,
That's true.
right?
I meant
And I
from
think that
threes.
is
No, from
yeah, and
three.
that's what
They
I'm
shoot the
saying.
same. Yeah,
So
okay.
Derek White is a catch and shoot guy and
Yeah,
plays proper
yeah,
D. Yeah.
yeah.
Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, ain't a catch and shoot guy. He needs the ball, he needs to romance the ball, step back and shoot threes and the rest of it. Maybe
That's
that's
fair.
what they were looking at. But I think they should
That's
have
fair.
given it to Jaylen Brown.
I think
I think
I'm
they should have
shocked
gone
they
Brown.
didn't make it. Yeah, I'm shocked they didn't
Yeah.
make it the first time. It didn't make sense to me. And then when they had a chance, you can look at it this way: 3 Americans on the Celtics are going. Jaylen Brown is not one of them. Come on, man.
Nah,
Come on.
it's not.
It
It's
doesn't
not
sit
proper.
well. It doesn't
It's not
sit
proper.
well.
And could this, Stephen A. Smith mentioned something a couple of months ago that that there's this perception about Jaylen Brown in the league, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
it's not
That
well
a lot of
linked.
people, a lot of people went after Stephen A. Smith. But when you see stuff like this happen, you be like, maybe we were punching the messenger. Maybe he knew what he was talking about. Because I don't understand why Jaylen Brown, who was the MVP of the finals that he won
And
for
the
the
Eastern
Celtics and the Eastern Conference Finals, and all of a sudden you overlook him. Oh, nah, it's bad. Now you now get somebody that probably bounced him off the team. That guy left, which is Kawhi, and you didn't even replace him with. You didn't get him to replace Kawhi, and you now even bring his teammate that is option 5 on his team. And this guy is option 1B at best. Jaylen Brown is option 1B, you will say, isn't he? Yeah. So let's say Tatum is 1A, Brown is option 1B. Derek White is option 5. There's something they're not telling us, Aki.
Something's up. And then
Something
people
is
try
up.
to make it an interpersonal thing that, instead of talking about this, he should have been congratulating his teammate. And then it turned out he did call his teammate. So I'm like, guys, just let the man
Of course
be.
he will call his teammates, Aki.
That's
Of course he will call his teammate. Come on. Anyway,
And
can we
finally,
quickly check in with the NBA?
WNBA.
WNBA, yes, please.
You're doing it. I didn't watch them this week, so you're doing it.
Nah, I also didn't watch as much.
Oh.
I only caught up the Sparks game. Sparks actually played by the time we started recording. They lost.
Storm.
They lost to
Seattle Storm.
What's the name again? Seattle team that had a neck on it. I keep forgetting them. Storm. So they lost to the Storm. But I saw Caitlin Clark had a good game. The last game they played, was it against? I can't even remember who they played. Yeah.
15
and Angel Reese's 15 or 16 game double streak came to an end at the hands of I think it was the Mystics or so. They were intentional. They were intentional about making sure she didn't get the 6. They made sure that, you know what, the young girl, you've had enough. You go sit down. You know. But the WNBA is on break right now for the Olympics. So I think we can do a deeper dive and do like a review of the first half of the season.
For sure, Caitlin will still make the Olympics.
Let's be that way.
I was so confident. You know, I thought I thought someone would drop out. They'll take someone else.
I knew she wasn't gonna make it.
I thought they'll fix.
I get your take on Taurasi.
The woman who wasn't.
I totally agree with you.
Who just got back from injury,
but
who hadn't played all year. I forget her name.
I know the way these people think.
You know, so there's a couple. I'm trying to remember. Is it the Aces? Yeah, she was injured.
Which team is this?
She was injured all year.
Yeah,
and she made the team.
A couple.
Because
is it what's her name?
Chelsea Gray.
Point guard.
She just got
what's her name again? I keep forgetting.
You know, so,
Chelsea Gray.
But anyway,
Chelsea Gray.
But
it was Chelsea Gray.
Don't look now. In the fourth quarter, Yinka. In the fourth quarter, she's Caitlin Clark is number 1 in assists and number 5 in points in the fourth quarter. And as Colin Cowherd will remind us, she's not passing to great players. You know, this is a below 500 team. She's not passing to great players. I think she's doing it well.
Yeah.
My thing is, everything that happened to her struggles were predictable. You know, you said it, I said it. I'm like, they're rookies. She didn't have training camp. You know, she played deep into, March, and then got drafted in April and started playing in April. You know, and people expect her to just come in but come on now. But she was always going to do this.
Absolutely. Even Rickea Jackson for the Sparks, she's been balling in recent time. So I'm happy for this draft class, right? Caitlin Clark is not going to be the only superstar out of this class. You watch.
You know who is not going to be of the 5 top ones that came this year.
Who?
She's not going to be a superstar. She's running out
Camila
of time.
Cardoso? Yeah. I think she's not gonna. I'll be surprised if next season or 3 seasons from here she'll still be on the sky.
You know,
I think
she's
they're going to
rebounding.
trade her.
Don't get me wrong, but she's not bullying.
I think they're going to trade her.
You know, she's not moving. She's not moving defenses. She's not really changing shots.
Yeah,
I've just been very surprised.
Yeah,
you know.
I also want to say this. You know, she was injured for the beginning of the. So maybe maybe this is a rookie block, right? And she will outgrow it. Right? Maybe that's what it is. Let's be fair to her.
Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so you don't miss any of our content.
And please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms.